Payday is here and the check is in the mail. Payday, what you guys doing?
Bring it in because we got no soundboard, so you just bring it on in. I turn this volume down. I take a sip of water.
People love to hear you drink on the air.
And I say, hello, sir. How art thou?
I'm doing all right. How you making out tonight?
I'm all right. So, come on in. Leave your Alpine Star Tech 7s in the garage because they're probably filthy.
Right.
And take your helmet off before you step in the building.
Please.
Like a gentleman.
That's right.
This is TWD, the manual. First, let me get the important stuff out of the way.
As always.
I don't know if we've talked about this yet.
Okay.
But you know me, bro.
I do.
I'm a Milwaukee man.
You are.
Have you seen the Milwaukee mower? The new Milwaukee mower is the most beautiful mower, and I'm not even that guy.
Is it the battery-powered one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not even the... look at this lawnmower. Well, I don't even like my lawn.
Right.
Right? My next house,
rocks.
I'm pouring concrete,
you're going
dude.
Arizona style.
Exactly. All concrete and cactuses. But I ran by it and I like buy it in Depot and I'm like, man, that's a handsome mower.
Yeah.
So one of two things is happening. And both of them are places that I never thought I'd be.
Alive.
Well, yes. I was going to say I'm leaning more towards the country boy that everybody thinks I am. Mm-hmm. Or this is just what happens once you reach your late 30s.
Once you get to a certain age, you just kind of quit on everything. And then once you quit on everything emotionally, then more things become interesting to you. Because now you no longer give a crap about anything. So your mind doesn't have that, like, what am I going to look at fucking lawnmowers for? I'm not cutting my lawn. But now that's not there anymore. So now you're like, wow, that's
it's a hell of a mower.
Look at the ball bearings on that. That thing's going to spin all day.
Hell of a mower. Big shout out to Deuces Coco in the chat. I hate saying big shout. I don't want to be the guy who says shout out too.
Okay.
So how about
how are you going to alert everyone that you're aware of their presence?
I think I got to go with like
sup dog.
Sup dog. A sup dog to Deuces Coco in the chat. Then now we just got to get a sup dog button.
Right.
He's asking us the same thing he asked us last week.
Well, he's rephrasing it, though.
It's on a different channel now.
Well, last week it was on Channel 6, the local news. Now he's saying he made the national
Now it's national TV.
Right. As it should be.
Yeah. Everybody keep your eye out for our boy Deuces Coco. He's out there in the streets saving lives and putting criminals,
pieces.
putting bad guys behind bars. Big sup dog to him. The topic that everybody tuned in for.
Finally.
Dirt bikes.
Right.
Safer than smack.
That is your position on this, and since you've done both, I'm going to defer to you on most of this conversation.
So here's why I've been thinking that, right? Over the past, let's say week.
Okay.
2 weeks probably. The entire time, my entire 2-month riding career.
Right.
However, I've noticed it now over the past 2 weeks because now I'm working on somebody else's schedule.
Okay.
Daddy doesn't get to call the shots.
Right.
I signed on to work with a different team. So now, if they want to work until 6 o'clock at night,
You got work till 6 o'clock at night.
I'm working till 6 o'clock at night. And it just reiterates the fact as to why I work for myself.
Right.
Love BTC and those guys. Solid guys. I'm glad that they got some work for me, and I'm glad to be working with them. But also, it helps me to remember, this is why you work for yourself, because you don't like listening to anybody, because you're a bratty little kid.
You're a free spirit. Of all the shitty things of working Lyft, the one nice thing was I just work when I wanted to.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm going to work. Tomorrow I'll just work during the day a little bit and then be done for the rest of the day. Whatever.
Right. Exactly. But whatever. So I'm with the business for now. Until I'm not, and we'll figure out when that comes.
Right.
But for now, I'm with the business. But that gets me into this spot where I don't have to do as much thinking as I once did.
True.
I just have to do functioning, right?
Right.
Just do whatever I'm told. That's fine. I'm glad to do it because I've had a bunch of headaches on my jobs for the previous couple weeks.
Right.
But most of my day is spent daydreaming about dirt bikes and riding and dirt bike oriented topics. I think I just knocked the camera sideways a little bit. Am I tripping?
Maybe a little bit. You keep talking though.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about dirt bike day in and day out.
Right.
And now it's getting worse because now that I'm working on somebody else's schedule, I can't be like, tonight I'm out of here
We're cutting out early.
we're getting out of here at 3:30 so I can get some riding time.
Right.
I'm just like, hey, I hope hope we ain't working too late tonight because
You think we're getting done before dinner? I got to let Mom know what time I'm going to be home.
yeah, hey, you think we're going to make it, home before sundown?
We're having stovetop.
But it came to even like on Friday. Friday it's 80 degrees.
Right.
Gorgeous out. And I knew it was going to be 80 degrees, so all day Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm like, Friday, it's on.
Friday's going to be something.
Right? So Friday comes and they're like, let's go to work. Let's go eat lunch at the restaurant.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, as a crew.
Yeah. And right away.
And I told him straight up, I'm like, listen, any other day of the week, I'll be glad to go eat, with the crew like a family.
Ask me when it's raining.
But it's 80 degrees on a Friday. Right. You're cutting into my riding time by stretching out our lunch. How about we just work through lunch and all get the hell out of here like guys who don't want to be at work all goddamn weekend.
Like people looking forward to the weekend, right?
So, whatever. We do that, blah, blah, blah. But it clicked in my head, right?
Okay.
When I was out there ripping and running and putting all types of hard drugs into my body,
right.
The only thought that I had, I was working, but in the back of my head, every day, day in and day out, particularly on Fridays when I was getting paid or when the weekend was coming, particularly when it was warm out or the sun was out later, so I knew I had time to run through the hood at night. That thought of using drugs was there. I'm going to try and keep this kind of like cleanish.
Okay.
Because, we wild out and said it
that's
the hard
that's
way.
The whole show.
Yeah. And that got us nowhere. So I would be at work, and that was my primary focus. And I've noticed over the past couple of weeks that I'm at work doing a job, but my primary focus is thinking about dirt bike activities.
Getting to the bike.
And it is like
so you're equating them in that way.
I'm equating them in they're that way.
Right.
Secondarily, right? Like I can feel like when I'm thinking about it, but I'm not riding.
Right.
I feel a physical stress buildup.
Okay.
Like a physical anxiety. And then I get home and I'm like, I'm rushing to get on my pads, to like get something out of the way, to like do something to help my wife out early and get it out the way so I know that I can be clear later on to like go ride, like to the same way where like I'd hit home, be like, hey, Oh yeah, and get the hell out of there and get myself
And
to
go
the
get your
hood.
bag,
yeah.
yeah.
So the anxiety of that, and then once I hop on the bike, it's fully released anxiety.
Okay.
And then once I get off the bike for the next, rest of the night, I'm like mellow. Like
Okay.
I'm chilling, I'm happy. I come home mad happy. Like, sure, babe, I'll help you with this, that, and whatever you need.
It's like a refractory period.
There's nothing that's going to stress me out.
Okay.
So it's very, I think that it plays on the same section of the brain that hard drugs do. Like whether it's the serotonin levels or whatever it is.
The endorphins somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. High, I want to trip someone running so bad, Victor Coco says. Do it, dude. Anybody, if criminal or not, you know what I mean?
Don't let your dreams stay dreams, Coco.
And I think, right, what if they gave me a dirt bike when I was 15?
Okay.
I think that maybe because this has been the most exciting, funnest thing that I've done as far back as I can remember, since smoking angel dust.
Oh, okay. So riding dirt bikes is like smoking angel dust.
No. Riding dirt bikes is the most exciting, thrilling, high, serotonin-inducing thing that I've done since smoking angel dust.
Okay, I'm with you.
But at 16, right? Because I had some minor interest in dirt bikes as a kid. I think most Jersey, suburb kids do. I think it's just part of, one of your buddies down the street has a dirt bike that he rides sometimes, or someone's dad's got motorcycles in the garage, and there's always, this kind of, yeah, that seems sick.
Yeah.
But
I can get into that.
my parents were not going to get me dirt bikes.
No.
Karen was way too...
Concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. Trying to shelter me.
A little overbearing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a touch. So I wasn't going to get a dirt bike, but I think about, right, because of the way that I feel now at 37 years old with a grown-up brain.
Right.
If you introduced that to my brain at 15 or 16 when it was forming and hasn't experienced all these other life things, right?
Okay.
I wonder, and I think, I truly think that we probably could have gone a different direction. I think it gives you everything that I was searching for in heavy drug use.
Okay.
Comes with dirt bike and motorcycle culture, or motorcycle lifestyle, right? You have. I'm alley cat, the alleyway admiral, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's right there on the album cover.
So you have. I'm definitely still crooked.
Again?
Yeah. You're gonna have to just back it up. It keeps falling onto the other side of the table, so you just gotta back it up a half an inch or whatever.
It's like we got live cameras tonight.
It's like a live show. Anything could happen. Wyclef told us that.
He did.
Alleyway Admiral. I was, half of my running the streets and doing drugs was based in the fact that I liked running the streets.
Right.
I liked criminality.
Right.
I liked being around hooligans and ruffians.
Part of the high was chasing the high.
Being out in a spot I'm not really supposed to be in, having a imminent feeling of danger in front of me, dipping the cops, and all these things. Though it's not a healthy camaraderie
Right.
between junksters, there is a camaraderie of hey, we got a mission today,
Right.
that we got to
gotta work
accomplish,
together.
right? We got to work as a team if we're gonna find $10, buddy.
Right.
So that all those things exist in this dirt bike motorcycle culture that I am now a part of. You have the camaraderie, CRF Mark is now by default kind of one of my best buds because I talk to him more than most any of my other friends now.
Okay.
We don't have a long storied relationship, but I talk to him on a very regular basis because we're both into riding together.
Right.
There's the idea of we have a mission that we are accomplishing as a team, right? We went riding in Wharton State Forest this weekend. And it's some gnarly terrain out there.
Yeah.
It's very sandy.
Yes.
And we got to a bridge where Mark rides out into the middle of the bridge. It's a railroad bridge. We're riding along the tracks. Just to find out in the middle of the bridge, you can only really cross it if you lift your bike across.
Okay.
Now, I wasn't willing to risk it for the biscuit.
Right.
But as a team, the three of us then had to get Mark's bike back off the bridge because you can't turn it around on a little tiny railroad track. Right. So there's the idea of the mission. We got lost out in Morton State Forest. We put our heads together and go, which way you think we're going? Jake goes, well, the sun's setting over there.
So that's west.
It's going to bring us somewhere we know eventually. At some point, if we go west, we're going to get to 295.
Run some Jersey, yeah.
There's the renegade kind of like, yeah, the cops, they kind of matter.
Right.
We kind of care about them.
I listen to one of them on the street, but you can't tell me nothing back here on the dirt by the trees.
We spread this is the classic dual sport / adventure bike move.
Okay.
Is to take a little bit of mud and smear it on your license plate.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like you didn't do it.
It wasn't me. I was just
but
out
they
there riding.
can't exactly read your plate because there's a little smudge on there. So I think that there's so many equivalents between the two.
Okay.
It starts to make sense to me why this is such a perfect match and why it's infected me so quickly and so strongly.
So, couple questions.
Please.
First question, do you remember the first time you did drugs? Like what the circumstances were that you wound up ingesting drugs?
Reefer?
Anything.
Yes.
Just the first high. What was the circumstance? Was that peer pressure? Was it something you were just searching? Like, what happened to get you there?
I was the peer.
You were the
I was the peer.
Should have known.
We were standing outside the store as we used to do.
Okay.
I don't think this flies anymore, right? But we were like 12 or 13 years old.
You were like the kids in Half Baked, standing out front of the 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're standing outside the 7-Eleven and asking guys to buy us cigarettes, right?
Okay.
We're like, yo, excuse me. Yo, can you get us some smokes? And back then, smokes were like $3.
Right.
So you give them a $5, and they get to keep the change.
Right.
And people would do it. But you had to know who to ask. Usually, you had to ask like a guy who was like 19 years old and looked like he had no friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he wanted acceptance from 12-year-olds.
Anyone.
Right.
Anyone.
So we're standing out there, ask some knuckleheads who probably looked a lot like we did at 17.
Okay.
Roll up.
Right.
Looking all bleary-eyed with big T-shirts and shaved heads.
Sure.
Listening to, let's see, if I was 12, it was 98. They were probably listening to the Money, Power, Respect album.
They had Black Rob on.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, they weren't listening. They were listening to album cuts on Black Rob, probably. These kind of guys. And the dude's like, yeah, I'll get you smokes. You smoke weed? And me wanting to be cool.
What does that mean, sir?
I'm like, yeah, I smoke weed, dude. Sometimes. He was like, you want to buy some? I'm like, yeah. And so he sells me whatever he sells me. I guess it was a
nick.
I don't remember if it was a nick or a dime. Not more than a dime.
Right.
Way less probably than what it cost.
Probably a real light dime.
He probably sold me a real light nick for a dime. He probably sold me a tray bag for $10, but I didn't know. So I hold on to it, and either that day or the next day we get back to the neighborhood, and I tell Kelly, I'm like, Kelly was his last name. That's what we called him.
Okay.
I'm like, Kelly, I got some weed, dude. Because he was the bad kid, right? So I'm figuring he knows what to do with this.
Right. He's seen this before.
And I don't know if he did or he didn't, but he sure acted like he did. He's like, we gotta roll it in Yellow Pages.
Oh, sure.
I'm like, all right, well, because that's when the Yellow Pages still existed.
Right.
I don't know if there's anybody under, let's say, like 27 listening to this, maybe younger, right? Maybe anybody under 30 is not going to remember the Yellow Pages.
I got Yellow Pages a couple weeks ago. It's like maybe an inch thick now and like a 4.5-inch wide.
And all commercial.
Yeah, and
all
not,
businesses.
It's not what it used to be, but they definitely put something on my stoop that said it's the Yellow Pages, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
I haven't seen one in years. So we get the Yellow Pages.
Right.
Kelly rolls this half of a nick into a Yellow Pages funnel cone joint.
Okay.
This long.
Right.
Like
you didn't cut the page down at all.
Way too much paper for the amount of reefer that we had. And we walk back to the pond, and it was exactly like half baked. We like hit it, pass it around twice, hit it, it's burning down, and I'm like, this don't even do anything, man. And so we start walking away, and Kelly's like, nah, dude, you gotta smoke a cigarette. It kicks your high in.
Oh, okay.
So we all smoke a cigarette, and sure enough, kicks it right in. All of a sudden, I'm walking on a treadmill. I'm like, yo, it feels like I'm walking on a treadmill, dude.
Everything's so smooth.
And we go to our homegirl Lauren's house. Lauren lives on the other side of the neighborhood.
Okay.
And she answered the door, and we just started cracking up. We couldn't stop. We could not stop laughing. And she's like, what are you guys laughing at? And we couldn't even stop laughing to tell her. So that was the first time that I did any kind of drugs.
So your first time wasn't necessarily
it was fun.
It wasn't an attempt for community or acceptance or anything.
It was just like innocent experimentation.
Okay. So then my next question moves to: do you think that you're finding the similarities between Angel Dust and Motorbike because there's similarities, or because they're both? It's you're the common factor between the two. Like anything that got fed to you could be the thing that you get this high from.
That's true, but BMX didn't do it.
No, not even at the beginning.
I liked BMX a lot.
Okay,
but I don't think it had the same. It didn't have the same adrenaline.
It didn't suck you all the way in.
BMX is a lot harder.
Sure.
Right? So you have to put a lot more hours in by yourself to get good.
Yeah. Because the bike isn't self-motivated. Right.
Riding, you're going to get good quicker. You're going to be sufficient much quicker.
Okay.
BMX, if you're just riding a bike, that's one thing. But BMX is not about just riding a bike.
Right.
You know? So, and the people in BMX seem to be a lot more they seem to be a little bit more closed off. It's not okay. We keep flashing in and out on the live stream.
The internet is dipping in and out. The recording is going fine. So we just got to keep going.
Okay. BMX didn't seem as warm and welcome as everybody I meet who rides a bike.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure there's guys who I'll meet who ride bikes who are not as warm and welcome as the guys that I have. Maybe I just got lucky and ran into the guys who are solid dudes. Now, here's the other thing. All the guys who I ride with on a semi-regular basis are all ex-knuckleheads.
Right.
So there's that part of it too. But I think that regardless of your prior,
it doesn't seem
discrepancies.
It doesn't seem like the motorbike community is quite as concerned with, let's say,
nothing makes you
authenticness as the BMX community is.
Yeah.
Right?
Nothing makes you sound less associated with the motorbike community than calling it the motorbike community.
Okay, but here's the point,
This is not, we're not in Italy, cuz.
No, I understand, but so hear me out.
Comunità.
So hear me out, though, right? So this is actually, you can help me make my point here, right? If I showed up with my BMX bike at wherever the local riding spot is, and I said, I'm here amongst the BMX community, they would look at me and they would say, you need to get out of here. You don't belong here.
Right.
But if I showed up with my motorbike to the motorbike community, they would say, listen, let's not call it that, but let's go for a ride and see what you
I think that's exactly. Yeah, I think that's exactly how it would happen.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that they're very much more accepting, especially because at this point, the guys that I run into are all in their 30s or so. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not there's not the same bravado and like alpha ego and trying to like be the top guy as when you were, 22 years old. Like we're not competing with each other. We're just out here like there's a podcast I was listening to today that they were discussing like the idea of.
How dare you listen to other podcasts?
No, it was this one.
Oh, okay.
I was listening to old episodes of this podcast where they were discussing ideas of like the motorcycle guys relating it to like a military kind of operation.
Okay.
Adventure bike guys related to a military operation. Now, most adventure bike guys are making like $200,000 a year and paying for a guide to take them through Baja. So I don't know how militarily it is, but it was like the idea of we have these latent characteristics as men of like adventure and like problem solving and camaraderie and movement. And all these characteristics are latent in us, and some guys might just be sitting in an office ready to peel their face off because they're just so like, this is not
pent up.
This is not what in my genetics. This is not what I'm meant for. Deep in my DNA, and that gives you a release that like plays into the qualities that make a man a man.
Gotcha.
So that's that. Now. Alongside inside of the motorbike community.
Motorbike community, as I like to call it, yeah.
The MBC.
Yeah.
Inside the MBC, we love, and we've discussed this, we love wheelie boys here at the Manual.
Sure.
One of us does.
Sure.
One of us is a crotchety old man who thinks that they should get out of traffic.
No, I don't think they should get out of traffic. I just think they should accept, they should be like Frogger. Like, you get hit, you get hit. You just got to pick your bike up and move and start over again.
I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure any of them 16-year-old wheelie boys out in South Philly who get hit by a car, grab their bike and scurry away.
Get back to the curb and start over. Try to get to the lily pad.
I got hit by a car on my bike as a teenager.
Okay.
It was completely the car's fault.
Right.
But in my mind, it was my fault. So I grabbed my bike and got the hell out of there, right? Now, hopped back on the bike and kept it moving, as tough 16-year-old kids do.
Sure.
But there's a kid from Grays Ferry.
Okay.
Now, this kid, he's from Reed Street in Grays Ferry, and I don't know that he got pretty popular. His name's One Way Corey.
One Way Corey? Okay.
And One Way Corey is your stereotypical Grays Ferry Irish kid,
Okay.
Probably TWD. I don't know his morals and his codes, but I would assume that they lean towards TWD. And I used to see these kids all riding their bikes because I used to date a girl on 30th and Reed, right?
Okay.
Now, One Way Corey went from wheeling SE bikes, big BMX bikes, to motorcycles. Now, I come across one of his YouTube shorts where him and his buddies are messing around at the gas station being goofballs.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there, right? Whatever. Have a good time, kid. It don't bother me none.
Right.
I get into the comments, and there is just, as the internet supplies so many times, there's just so much hatred for him. Like, oh, why don't you guys get out of traffic and get on some trails, and then we'll see what kind of riders you really are. And like, then there's the guys who are on the other side going like, why are you even worried? You can't recognize a good rider. You can't see that he's got skill set, right? So they're fighting back and forth.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because the wheelie boys and the trail boys are the same guys.
Pretty much.
You are the exact same guys fighting against each other.
Right. You're just bumping heads for no good reason.
Right. You're both living dangerously.
Right.
You're living on the edge. You both have the love of these machines, right? And I'm sure the wheelie boys can break down every single spec that you want them to on a YZ250 or a YZ125. They'll tell you everything about it. The trail boys over here can tell you all about the KTM 300XC. It's just different.
Right.
You have the same infatuation.
Yeah.
And both of you are using objects in your environment to like prove your skill level. We're just doing it in you're just doing it in two different ways and you don't see it.
Right.
So it comes back around to this whole thing that we stand here in the center.
Yeah.
As always, we stand in the center. and we watch both sides who are cyclical. It's all a circle. You're way close. You're fighting on the front side, but you have failed to realize that your tails are touching on the back side of this thing.
They're chasing each other's tails and they don't realize it.
Right.
They don't realize the proximity.
Right. So I stand to say, like, wheelie boys and trail boys, let's all get along. We can all meet right in the middle at Adventure Boys.
There you go.
Yeah.
Adventure Boys.
You know, because that's what the adventure bikes are.
Right.
Or they're made for, like, touring / trail riding.
Doing both.
Yeah. So why don't we drop off a bunch of 690 KTMs out in North Philly?
Yep.
And get those wheelie boys on some adventure bikes. Tell the trail boys, hey, meet us over there on the Walt Whitman Bridge.
Okay.
And then we go for a voyage out into the, to the hollows of South Jersey.
Let's
hallowed land of Pine Hill.
Let's do that with the GoFundMe this year instead of a bike for a kid.
How can we use the GoFundMe to get KTMs to the hood, or to get the wheelie boys and the trail boys all together?
Well, you got to start with the KTMs to the hood, because you have to start somewhere with the goodwill gesture.
Yeah.
And say, here they are. They're yours no matter what, but here's what we want to see happen once you get these and get accustomed to them.
I like where your head's at. So let's start with a reasonable goal. We'll try and get three KTM 690s to the hood.
Okay.
All we got to do is raise $48,000.
With our fan base, it should be done by the end of the night.
That's true. So we're looking for $48,000. You can Cash App it right to @ThoroughWhiteDude.
Yeah, Cash App. Also, we have a Venmo with the same address.
Yeah, send it on over.
Whichever one you feel more comfortable with.
Some dickhead in Pakistan is trying to send 50,000. Some oil tycoon in Saudi Arabia is trying to send us 50,000 right now to the wrong address.
That's fine. Somebody's getting rich off us.
Back to this though, right?
Yeah.
The idea that dirt bikes and dope are the safer version of dope.
Right.
I think that's where my new business plan comes in.
Okay, is this the thing that we discussed? Okay.
So, my road to recovery from the heavy drugs was not the same road that is widely regarded as, the one that people take.
It wasn't the common and typical.
No, it was not. And so, therefore, being that, I try to stay out of the way of anything recovery-based, really.
Right.
I like thorough dudes. I don't particularly like dudes who base their whole life in recovery.
Right.
Not that I don't like them. It's just not my thing. We're not going to get along.
It irks you a little bit.
Yeah, we're not going to get along.
Right. In the long run, the more time you spend together, the worse it's going to be for you, because you don't like people who build their entire thing around, well, I'm a recovering addict and also, whatever the rest of their life is.
To me, I see that there's so much more to put into your life than you being stuck going to 12-step meetings or church meetings or whatever it is that your recovery tool is. Like,
right. That's your basis, and that's fine, and that gets you to where you need to be. But now,
you need to get up out of that.
Who are you at that spot?
Yeah, you need to get up out of that. But I've had an epiphany that maybe I need to return to give back to the recovery world.
Okay.
So I'm going to open up a recovery house.
Okay.
Close by.
Well, yeah.
I think I'm going to open it in Pine Hill.
All right.
Because Pine Hill is hallowed land as far as Camden County is concerned.
Yeah.
And we're going to pit ex-junksters with pit bikes. Right?
Oh, okay.
So here's what happens. And really better off, I think we need you to be an ex-junkster.
Okay.
And coming home from a bid. Like, I want you to be coming home from jail, not just coming off the streets.
So this is almost a halfway house.
Yeah.
Okay.
A recovery halfway house.
Okay.
Right? You come in. First thing we do is we set you up with your room. We read you the list of rules.
Okay.
Hey, don't eat your buddy's Pop-Tarts.
Cool.
Don't share deodorant.
No.
No jerking off in the shower.
That's a tough one, but all right.
Guys, you gotta walk in the shower.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And also that rule's gonna get broke.
Of course it is.
All right. Secondarily, We take you out to the garage.
Okay.
We eye you up. We go, you look like, because you may not have ever had any interest in bikes ever.
Right.
We eye you up. We take a guy like you. We go, you look like a big bore adventure bike guy.
Okay.
Right? We say, all right, look. Now, obviously, we're a state-funded program, so we don't have the top-of-the-line 2023 KTMs.
No, but that's okay.
But we give you a 2002 KLR 650.
Right.
Right? We say, hey, man, here's your bike. We got you tagged. You can move around with it. But the problem right now is that there's no oil in there, and the air filter is filthy. So you got to change it. And we walk away.
Right. You got to rehab the bike. Good luck. Let us know when you're ready to
Not
start.
even
Well,
yeah, you know what? Maybe rehab. There'll be an varying.
Yeah, not major rebuild, but like you said, you got to replace the air filter. You got to change the oil because we don't know how long it's been sitting.
Right.
You know the little things, not take it apart and change the bore. And
You're
things
not
like
gonna.
that.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to just hop on and ride it.
No.
There's gonna be a headache on the front end for you.
Yeah, because that's how you're gonna make it yours. Like if we just give you a new bike and you get on it, it's not going to have the same connection to you as, hey, this is the bike that I fixed up and now it starts and now I'm going to ride it and now like it's mine.
Right. And there's something to be said for I've heard a couple of guys say like that the idea of them being able to fix their bike has transitioned and translated to different aspects of their life where they're like, "Oh, I can fix this problem. I can problem solve."
I'm sure.
So right off the gate, we're putting up problem solving challenges against you so that you can get that confidence back. Because your confidence, after you've been using drugs or you did a bid for 7 years, your confidence in the real world is zapped.
It's got to be shot, yeah.
You got great confidence in a room full of men.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's fine, but in a room full of ex-convicts, you have confidence. If we put you, after you come home from doing 7 years, in a room full of small business owners, you're going to feel out of place and out of pocket and not confident.
For sure.
So we're giving you a headache at the beginning of your stay because that headache is going to translate into like, oh, I'm capable.
It's going to melt away the barriers that you're putting up on your own.
Exactly. So now you're capable, right?
Okay.
So now after that couple days, whatever it takes, maybe you get it done. Maybe you stay up all night working on it. Maybe it takes you a week, whatever. Different paces for different guys.
Yeah, there's no rules to that part of it. As long as you're working on it, you're working on it.
But now we have, now you have a vehicle because that's always been a major hurdle for me coming home from doing bids was not having transportation. I got to fight to like make sure I get to the train, find out which bus is running there, borrow $3 from somebody. Now you borrow $3 from somebody, you fill up half a gas tank, you're riding for the whole day.
Right.
You have you have this thing in front of you, this beat up old bike. You're going to run into problems with it.
Yeah.
And right next to you, maybe sleeping in the bunk next to you or down the hall, you have the guys who saw these problems already.
Okay.
You know?
You have like the guys that have been there 30 days when you're there at 0 and then everybody shifts.
Yeah, so you know that the answer is right there. You just have to learn to ask for help.
You got to strike up some camaraderie.
Which is another big hurdle for a lot of guys getting themselves cleaned up is like you've been very anti-ask for help and anti like your ego tells you I could do that. I'd do this.
Yeah.
So now you have this easy way, right? And a kind of a neutral topic to ask for help on that's not touching into your soul and trying to get you to bare all your secrets.
Right.
But it's giving you a soft entry into the ability to like let your ego down and ask for help for somebody who knows and who's walked in your shoes.
Yeah.
They'll help you because it's part of the rules. You got to, we're going to create what do they say? Like the football teams, like an air of, man.
I don't know what you're going for.
I heard it like 17 times this season. We have like, I don't remember.
What are you gunning for here?
Like an air of like camaraderie in this. I kept hearing it when they were. The joke is ruined because
Yeah.
I lost it.
Well, yeah.
But you have this air of camaraderie with the guys because once you ride the bike, if you're these type of guys, these guys who are thrill seekers and law breakers and rule benders, once you get out on that beat up old bike, no matter what kind of bike it is, you're going to want to ride again tomorrow and again tomorrow and again tomorrow. And so the guys who are on their 15th or 62nd tomorrow are also going to want to ride. So now here's a friend. Here's a built-in friend for you.
Right.
So we're creating this bond of like guys, because one of the most important things, one of the best times in my adult life, with going through all the hell that I went through, was when I lived at the Honeycomb Hideout, because we were all on the same page.
Right.
We were all into it. We all went to the gym. We all had girls coming through. We were all trying to stay off the shit. We were all blue collar guys. We were all,
Right.
we all had all these things in common, and we were a team. Now, some of that team was closer. Some of the guys were closer to the center of the team, and some guys were a little further off the center. But even those guys who were further off center still used to show up and go get a cheesesteak with us or whatever.
Right.
You're
creating that camaraderie with them, and you are you're kind of reacclimating them to society slowly, instead of just throwing them out there like, hey, you're here in this halfway house, go get a job now, and they got to figure it all out on their own. You're slowly rebuilding, like you said, rebuilding their confidence, rebuilding their awareness, rebuilding their ability to speak to other people when they've probably spent the last couple of years kind of internalizing everything just for safety's sake.
Right.
And they no longer should have to feel like that.
Exactly. So you have a bike, you've got camaraderie, you have a vehicle to get you to, like, maybe, and I don't know that this happens or not, this might be later on in our business plan.
Okay.
Maybe those bikes that these guys are fixing up somehow are like when you go to the beauty school to get a haircut.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be the best haircut, but you're only going to pay $3.50 for it.
So like sending them to tech school.
Yeah.
And then you bring your car over there for them to do the oil change just to see if they're getting proficient at it.
Right. So now this turns into a self-governing, self-running kind of situation.
Right.
That money that comes in from the bikes that get dropped off goes to, this is going to pay the mortgage on this house, so these guys don't have to pay. Now, they're not going to get paid because they're going to live mortgage free. Hopefully we're going to provide them some food, and we'll help them if they need to get some clothes and whatever. And if you want to go get a job elsewhere, well, go ahead and take your KLR and go get a job. We're not going to stop you.
No.
But it also, one of the things that fails to be implemented in the recovery house situation, not ours, but in general, is like they don't supply you with that void of excitement and like fun.
Okay.
You're on your own to figure it out.
To figure out joy.
Yeah, you're to figure out what you're into and what's going to fill that void where, like, running the streets left this void of, like, now you don't have this kind of edgy excitement and you don't get to bend the rule and feel like a renegade and be an alley cat anymore.
Right.
You got to figure out if the gym does that for you, which it won't. You got to figure out if playing basketball at the park down the street does that for you, which it won't. You got to figure...
Only bikes will.
Well, there may be something else, but I'm telling you for sure that bikes will. Right? I know for certain that all of that thrill-seeking behavior that was part of why you got into running the streets and committing crimes is available in your bike that's sitting in the garage of our Pine Hill halfway house.
And you get to be on the up and up with that.
And you are in Pine Hill, hallowed ground for dirt bikers in New Jersey.
Right.
Which means that you've got trails everywhere.
Yeah. Like veins running through the back of the woods.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
The veins of Pine Hill are dirt trails.
Dirt trails. Right.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the Adventure Boys.
Exactly.
Adventure Boys Recovery Home.
So if you're looking to get cleaned up, or you got a buddy who's coming home, put him in contact with us. We'll see if we can get him placement in our our new recovery house. You know what I mean?
I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think
It is a good idea.
I think if you get your first 10, 15 people all the way through the program, and they're pretty much going to be zealots for you, much in the same way that you resent the people who will shout about the 12-step program constantly, no matter what. You're going to have a group of people who shout about the bike program.
Bunch of 12-steppers are going to hate the bike program,
right,
guys.
Exactly. Like, yeah, I'm a recovering addict, but you know what got me through it all? Motorbikes. And come to the Motorbike Society with me, and I'll show you what's what.
The NBC got me through it. Yep,
Right.
yep. So, I'm a dendrophiliac.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. I'll jot that down next time.
You familiar with dendrophilia?
It's got to be a skin thing, right?
No. It's also known as arborphilia.
So trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's getting effed by tree. Well, it's effing a tree.
Well, then I have a movie for you. Have you ever seen the original Evil Dead?
I'm familiar with it, but I never saw
I
it.
think you're going to quite enjoy that now that you've fallen into this.
Now that I'm a dendrophiliac?
Yeah.
Yeah. My hip ate tree this weekend at Morton State Forest. So there was nothing I could do. In slow motion, I saw myself flying like this, midsection and side and ribs first into a tree, and there was nothing to do except just F that tree.
Just got to take it.
Let
Yep.
that tree F me.
Yep.
I also hit my phalanges with a framing nail last week.
Okay. The upper phalanges or the lower phalanges?
The upper phalanges.
Okay.
Well, mid phalanges. My framing gun, my Milwaukee framing gun, has the kickback of a 45, cause
Yeah.
this
Because
thing
it's a
is
man's tool.
Yeah, this thing is powerful. So I go to shoot a nail, and it somehow ricochets off the stud that I was trying to shoot it on, and dead into my middle finger on this hand.
Did it go through?
Yeah. It tapped the bone, cause
Oh my God.
it wasn't far. This was like my hand was like a foot away
Well,
from
yeah.
the ricochet.
It's the gun holding hand.
No, I was holding my hand with the gun with my left.
Oh, okay.
And holding
It's just
a piece of
aiming.
wood
Okay.
with my right.
Oh, okay.
And it hits me, and I scream a few profanities, obscenities. That profanities and obscenities are profanities.
Pretty much.
Obviously, which
Yeah.
is the first word I said, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
And the customer's upstairs like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm not sure yet."
I'll let you know when the bleeding stops.
They're like, and I felt just pain shoot up my arm and down to my toes, dude.
Okay.
And I got a glove on, and I look, and it's in there, dude. It's all the way into my knuckle.
Just buried
the
in there.
inside of my knuckle. So I go to pull it out. I had to put some force behind it to pull it out.
Yeah.
Like, it was
It's a nail.
stuck in there, cuz.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's like it's
"Oh."
a job.
So I yank it out and grab my finger
Okay.
because I don't know what's going on underneath of that glove.
Right.
The guys are like, "You okay? You bleeding?" I'm like,
Got me.
I don't know. I'm scared to look.
Yeah.
I don't want to look.
I'm hoping the glove comes off and my finger stays on.
I'm like, I didn't want to look. I was nervous about what I was going to see when I took it off.
Yeah,
And
of course.
So sure enough, I yanked the glove off, and I'm just leaking.
Yeah.
Leaking. So the customer comes down and helps me bandage it up, but I wrap it up tight, and it was okay for the rest of the day. Soon as I took that bandage off, my middle finger was 3 times the size of normal, and I couldn't move it for the next 2 days. I haven't hit myself in the body parts with a framing nail
Right.
since I was 19.
Yeah, and this was a freak accident.
I was on a good run without shooting myself with a framing nail.
Now we're back to 0 days on the
Almost-
job site without an accident.
Almost made it to 20 years, but I fell short a couple of years
Your
here.
OSHA count's got to go back down.
Yeah. We're a little quiet tonight, which is fine because,
Yeah.
it happens to the best of us.
Sure.
But I want this to be, hopefully this comes back around on the replay and you hear this. We want your phone calls.
Please.
Because phone calls, or put it in the comments, but here's what I'm thinking. A lot of the time, as TWDs or men in general, we are kind of, it's kind of looked down upon to be like rubbing it in your successes in someone else's face.
Bragging.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bragging is kind of looked down upon.
Yeah, depending on the level of it, and especially who you're bragging to. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think bragging is an unsung hero is not probably the way. Let me try that again.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's rewind that.
I think bragging is an underestimated, now, an
Underappreciated?
underappreciated
All right.
life
Okay.
skill, right? But you have to know how to do it.
Yeah.
And you have to have the right place to do it.
Yes.
Here is the right place to do
Yes.
it, right? We want you to call and brag and tell us your successes, whatever they are,
Right.
right? Whether that's that, hey man, I've been working my butt off for 3 years to get my bank account into 6 figures, and I finally did it. And now I'm on my way to, I'm on my way to 200,000, whatever. Or, yo, I just bought my first house. Hey man, I've been off the shit for X amount of years. I just bought. It could be even simpler than that.
Whatever it
Hey,
is
man,
you feel like is an
I'm
accomplishment.
36 years old and I finally pulled a kickflip.
There you go.
Whatever you're proud of and whatever is
Right.
your success, come bring it to us because we are going to celebrate it. I don't care how vicious it sounds on your part, right? Or how braggadocious it sounds. Go ahead. Brag as much as you want because this is what your buddies should be doing for you.
Yeah.
You should be able to go to your crew of buddies and go, yo, can I brag a little bit here?
Let me tell you something that happened to me this week.
And you should come in there and go, cuz I'm going to tell you right now, I got 3 baby moms.
3 baby moms.
And then your buddy should go, all right, kid, I see your work.
Right.
You know what I mean? They should boost you up because of that. And then that in turn goes like, yeah, all right, yeah, I am doing it, right? Rather than you're suppressing your braggadocio and you're like, I got to be humble about it.
Right.
And then, and you don't get to like fill that part of you up that you get to like kind of breathe in that like self-righteousness.
That like rare air that's up there.
Yeah, self-righteousness, when used for good, can be a great tool.
Yeah.
Self-righteousness can also, not everybody has the ability to use it for good. Sometimes it goes south. But we're here to give you this platform of self-righteousness. We want you to call and leave a message, put a comment. We want to hear your successes so we can stroke your ego and push you towards your next successor.
And if nothing else, celebrate with you because you don't feel like anybody else is supposed to. Let's get in there and tell us what it is, and we'll let you know how fantastic it is.
Right. We're going to celebrate with you.
Yeah.
No matter how small or how large your win is, right? We want to give you the spot to, like, really be a dick.
If it's in the W column, let us know.
Brag like a dick. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
All right? Last little thing here.
All right.
Now that it's about to be shirtless lawn mowing season.
Sure. You could tell, by the way, it was 55 today.
Yeah. really bummed me out, eh? So I mowed the lawn this weekend and got sunburnt. Whatever, that's besides the point.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I am coming out of fasting and coming into the summertime. Good place to be, right? Because now I'm skinny.
Right.
I'm frail in comparison to my normal self.
Yeah.
I'm down probably about 15 pounds from what I was weighing 2 months ago.
Sure.
And I have the opportunity now, being 15 pounds down, I have the opportunity to like really lock in a diet.
Okay.
And get my nutrition right so that all of the weight that gets put on me is healthy, clean muscle, and I could put back on 15 pounds of muscle, whereas I lost 15 pounds that was maybe like
everything.
10 pounds of chub and 5 pounds of muscle, right? So now this is like a reset to get myself get my bikini body back.
Do you even want to put the 15 pounds back at all? Now that you're a bike guy, like, don't you want to be a little lighter?
It's funny you say that.
Okay.
because that has crossed my mind. Like, well, if I'm going to ride a 125 two-stroke, maybe I should stick at this lighter weight.
Right.
You know, because it's only going to
That's like
help
a whole
me.
3 weight classes in the UFC.
I have seriously had that thought of like, maybe I should stay slim so that I'm more agile on top of the bike.
Like
Not
breezy in
ever
the wind.
once in my life have I thought to myself,
I need to be more agile.
I should be less buff and more agile. So you know that this bike stuff has gotten deep into my veins if I'm thinking that, dude, because I'm all about the buff.
It's like smack.
Safer. Just like it.
In some ways it is, yeah.
Except a little safer. So I'm back at the gym grinding it out, right?
Okay.
Trying to put back on some muscle. And I was, throughout the whole past month of fasting, I'm kind of half-assing my workouts,
Okay.
right? Because in my mind, I'm like, I guess a couple things happen. One, I don't have the same zest and the same energy that I have when
Right.
I'm eating on a full schedule and getting all my nutrients and vitamins. And I'm also not going to get any gains because I'm like, I'm not eating enough to put weight back on. So like, we'll take it easy. We're doing maintenance workouts. And it showed in my mindset and in my workout and all of that. So now that I'm back on the food,
Okay.
I'm back on
Back
the
on the
food.
Yeah.
My mindset clicked over in the midst of a workout the other day.
Okay.
I'm working out and I'm on the Smith machine, I think. The pulleys for chest, right? I got the pulleys that come behind you and I'm doing
like the
flies.
You're almost doing butterflies.
Yeah, I'm doing
Okay.
flies, stand-up flies on the pulley machine. The cables, they call them.
Okay.
You act like I've never been to a gym before.
You were acting like that.
That's what I'm saying. I was talking to me.
Oh, I
Sorry.
see.
I just said it out loud. Just talking to me out loud.
I didn't realize I was crying. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And like I'm on the cables and it like I had this like click in my brain where I like was dehumanized.
Okay.
Right? Like instead of me being like, all right, we're doing a couple, like the click happened and I'm like, it goes to like, oh no. You can't stop. You can't put forth anything less than full effort and go till failure. Like dehumanize yourself to turn yourself into a machine. Right? And that's this wall. There's this wall that people, this is the difference between being in shape and being fit or buff or ripped or jacked, right?
Okay.
Is this wall that's the dehumanization wall. Because as a human, you still will succumb to these feelings of like, oh man, that's heavy and it's stressing. I'm kind of tired. I already did this many sets and I got to get to work anyway, right? And you succumb to that feeling. When you dehumanize yourself, the only thing that matters, none of whatever you're feeling or thinking matters. The only thing that matters is that you're a machine whose job is to put these weights up, right?
Completing the task.
And at that wall is where buffness happens.
Okay.
Which I know for myself because probably like 26-ish, mid-20s was when I was in the best shape of my life, right? I was jacked, cuz. For me, at
Right.
least. And
Let's brag about it. Let's go.
that's what I'm doing. It doesn't count as a brag if it happened
If it's
11
true.
years
Oh,
ago.
Okay.
But, damn, I lost my fidget spinner. Hold on, I gotta get it now, dude. It's down there. Here it is.
All right. Good. There you go.
That's my fidget spinner.
Now let's talk about focus again.
All right. Yeah. So at 26, right, every workout was machine.
Okay.
Like there was I just came home from doing time. Like everything was just being a machine when I was in the gym. And I've lost that, but that thing clicked back over the other day and I'm like, oh, this is where this mindset, it's not how much you're lifting, what you're eating. Where you get fit as you can be is at that wall, at that mindset.
Okay.
Where you click over. Now, I don't know that everybody else gets to anywhere near this or understand. I don't know what guys and what gals can relate to this.
Right.
But to me, on the other, it's on the other side of. I think I worked out hard enough today.
Okay.
On the other side of that is I'm a machine, and that's the spot where your goals start getting met. You know?
Okay. Once you put your humanity aside, that's when you can accomplish the things that you want to.
Yeah, you can't be a human.
Right.
There's no we're not doing humans here at the TWD.
That's not the point.
The manual. We're not here to be humans, dude. We're here to do things that you can call and brag about.
That's right.
And we're also here to talk dirt bikes, apparently.
Yes.
And sometimes hip hop.
If we can.
Yeah. There's a new podcast called The Blog Era.
The blog here. Oh, okay.
The Blog Era is about just that. Like when hip hop blogging kind of hit the internet. I've listened to the first 2 episodes. Seems like it's right up your alley. You know the boys from It's The Real?
I think so.
Yeah, they do some stuff here and there.
Yeah.
They're like kind of journalists, kind of, media figures, but they put it together. The first episode is called something like The Joe Budden Theory.
Okay.
Or whatever. And they're talking about kind of Budden's rise and talking about, they're talking about the era in which the original audiograph was created.
Right.
The original TWD, the manual, was created 11 years ago at this point. Nah, maybe more than that. I think I was 23 when I first did our first podcast.
Okay.
And then it fizzled out pretty quickly. But they talk about a lot of names who didn't fizzle out at that time. And, well, doing a whole lot better than we are. But check it out.
You didn't fizzle out. You didn't get to your mechanical thought process. You didn't get to the machine part.
You're right. I haven't been a machine yet. But I'm feeling machinistic about what's going on with the TWD page now. We're kind of hitting a small stride, and I think that if we exploit it, we can kind of turn this into a little something or other.
Get somewhere.
Which we've been trying to do for quite some time now.
Yep.
And I mean, that's all I got on my list here.
All right.
You got anything you want to talk to me about? I'll sit back and listen for an hour. While you talk at me.
I don't have anything to talk about. I don't live an interesting life like you do.
No, here's the thing, dude. Your life is the exact same quality of interest as mine. You just don't have you just can't jazz it up maybe to make you feel like it's interesting. Remember when we've talked about this.
Okay.
I'm living inside of a video vlog.
Okay.
Or something like that. What did I say? I'm living inside of like a
vlog works for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm living inside of a vlog. I go through life thinking either I'm miserable. Right. I got 2 speeds.
Yeah.
I got miserable and self-vlog, where like either I'm miserable and I don't want to deal with none of it.
Right.
Or I'm trying to get into everything and take it to wherever I can take it to.
So the big distinction between us then is my 2 speeds are miserable and also miserable.
Right.
So most of the time, like even if I do have an interesting story and even if I do share it on here, about 3 to 4 minutes into it, even though the story's going well and I'm not stuttering and I'm laying it out,
you're not buying into it.
I start clicking into, why do they even care?
Yeah.
Why are you even paying attention to me at all?
Right. No, yeah. And that's once you get that, once you don't care about your story,
right.
Nobody else is going to care
right.
either.
I can't, even if it's the most fascinating thing, I can't sell it. I can't sell you on a story about how I saved some deal today because I found a document that nobody else could find, and I found it, and because I'm the internet guru, I can dig in and find it where no one else was.
Well, we appreciate you coming here to brag about it. You found the hell out of that document, Pay.
You have no idea. 4 weeks we've been waiting for it. 4 weeks we've been putting the customer at bay because we didn't have this, and I have it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I've seen your work firsthand, so I believe that you're probably doing things that nobody else in that office can do.
Can do.
Should be doing. Deuces said, gig, Did you get those safety pads you want for riding?
For the bike, yeah.
I'm fully safe now.
Good.
I'm fully padded up. I'll tell you this, too. And then I'll tell you this. This is what they used to say at meetings. I'll say this, then shut up.
Oh, all right. I thought you were gonna
However,
this to
they would say that. Well, they did that, too. I'll say that. So I say this to say, no, they do. I'll say this, then shut up. But then they
never
trail
shut
on
up.
for another 13 minutes. Nobody loves talking about themselves more than recovering addicts,
Right.
dude. Not, obviously not me. I'm
No,
not that
you're
kind of
a different
guy.
kind
Yeah,
of recovering addict.
for sure.
You're addicted to bikes.
Yeah. And they're safer than dope.
Right.
I bought dollars worth of safety gear.
Okay, sure. We don't have to put a number on it. You're not. This is not your brag.
Right. And I bought Liat.
Okay.
Have we discussed that Liat is the polo of dirt bike gear?
Yes.
Right. So I bought Liat. Every piece of Liat gear that I bought, I am super happy with it.
All right. Good.
Bought a pair of gloves, bought a helmet, chest protector, boots, pair of gloves. The gloves felt phenomenal in comparison to my old gloves. They're
Okay.
light, got wind through them. I could use my phone with them. They got a good grip on them. They're nice and tight.
If you had them on during the nail gun accident, would the nail have gone through? Okay.
Absolutely. Might have gone through both sides. I had on Milwaukee's.
Oh. All right.
So it's not like I was wearing some Joe Blow gloves.
Right. Right.
So I first ride, those gloves get a hole in them.
All right.
And I'm like, what the hell, man? What the crap, dude?
Yeah.
This is
Hey,
crazy.
bro.
Because they're not cheap gloves.
Right.
So I'm kind of annoyed, but the hole's not too big. I'm still going to wear them. And I'm with my haberdasher who's like, cuz, I'm a tailor. You think we can't fix these? I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's on a seam. Yeah, what are you going to you sew something that ain't a seam?
Patch some zigzag on it.
He's like, oh, they make leather tape. He's giving me all these things. I'm like, yeah, but whatever we do to fix it, they still rip the hole in them first ride.
Yeah.
I write an email to Liat. They say, send us a picture of the gloves. I send them a picture of the gloves. The second email they sent me said, hey, we're sending you a new pair of gloves. Just like that.
That's a beautiful thing. And,
Absolutely.
And the shame of it is, like, that should be expected of almost any company. But
You should stand by your product.
But it stands out when somebody does it because they're just doing the right thing, and just nobody does that anymore.
Right.
What's that? You took them home and ripped them? You must have been misusing them. It's not our fault.
Right. And here's the thing. You should stand by your product.
Yeah.
And one thing that I stand by is the manual.
Okay.
We stand by this being a solid product, which is why we're going to erase this entire episode. No, this episode was strictly for the Dirt Bike Boys, so if you made it to the end, we appreciate it. Don't subscribe here. Well, you could subscribe here on the Gig Light. I'm going to shift this also over to the TWD page.
Okay.
This whole episode.
Right.
Because this is for the biker boys. So, on your way out, go ahead and feel free to put your boots back on if you're leaving.
Yeah.
Put on your Alpine Star Tech 7s. Grab your helmet and warm up your 2-strokes, your 4-strokes, your quads, your Harleys, your street bikes, your mopeds, your Razor scooters, your this, your that. I was trying to keep going and have you turn off the volume, but I was doing two things at once and I couldn't tell you how to do it.
The list was fantastic.
Let's try it again. Your street bikes, your Harleys, your Razor scooters, your Bigfoots, your side